Hello, Susie here. I'm going to try to do a little video. Everybody asks me for them. I'm not fond of doing them, but I figured that this one might be easy. It's going to be on this little 8x8 canvas here, and I'm only going to use 3 colors. They are all sparkling stain, and they are, as you know, sparkling stain is in the home-brewed category, which is not being produced anymore, but I have some, and so I'm going to use it, and I'm going to try to reproduce a canvas that I did before that I actually threw in the garbage today because I managed to put epoxy on it and really screwed up. I mean, to the point that the canvas was sagging, and it was on a littler canvas that was a deep edge, and it sagged in the middle. It had all these stupid little bubbles on the top, and I just finally tossed it. I looked at it a long time, and then I tossed it. But anyway, so here's what I'm going to work on. And I'm just going to turn the camera around 1 second and say hello. Hello. I hope this doesn't look really weird because I don't know what I'm doing. Anyway, I'm turning it back around now. So here we go. So I'm going to hook this little bad baby iPad up to my handy dandy tripod that I just got in the last week or so. So you might see a little flickering and moving going on at the moment, but this is what I am trying to do to get this set up to where you can see what's going on. I think I'll move the canvas and not the tripod, and that would probably work a lot better. So here's the canvas, and as you can see, it's an Artist Loft Level 2 gallery canvas. It's an 8x8, and I'm just taking the thing off, and I'll show you the back of it. You see it's got the wood on the back, so it's a Level 2 gallery canvas, and there we go. That's that. So this is going to be really quick and really easy, and just to show you how really quick and really easy you can do one of these. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm actually going to wet the canvas ever so slightly. Not a lot because I am using the sparkling stain, and you don't want to dilute that very much. So I'm just going to slightly mist this canvas, and I'm actually going to just kind of rub it and make it a little bit even, but it's with my glove, and then we have it damp, a little bit damp. So now the first color that I'm going to use is going to be my brightest color, and I'm shaking this, shake it really good, shake it all really good to get that spit moving in there, and the sparkles moving in this one. And all I'm going to do, I don't know what happened there, but probably another little bug landed in here. I get a few of those. All I'm going to do right now is I'm going to just make a few little dots around the middle. And that actually is more in the middle, but the canvas looks, there we go. Now it's a little more centered. Next thing I'm going to do is take my next darkest color, and I'm going to put a little bit more color around the outside. And actually I'm going to take this a little bit deeper. And I am putting pretty much in here, because when you're doing a stain press, you want to have more rather than less, because otherwise you end up with gaps. So I'm actually putting some more back in here too. And then on the outside, what I'm going to do is I've got my Ravenous Raven here. So I'm putting the raven all along the outside. And like I said, I know this looks like a lot of spit, and it really is, kind of, because like I said, I don't want to end up with any blank spaces if I can help it. So I'm going to move this bit aside, and now you see that my canvas is fairly covered, and I'm going to grab a piece of my, those stones aren't big enough, hang on. I'm going to get a piece of this. Oops. Ooh, dropping things here. This is a drop cloth, and this is really good stuff. It's pretty inexpensive, and you can see the milliliter on here, I believe. And that's what you want, the really thin stuff. So I'm just taking this roll, and now I got to get my scissors. Hold on. And I'm going to cut a piece that's going to be big enough. As you can see, I'm going to take it and measure it out here so it's got to be on both sides of the canvas. So it will be that wide. My scissors are horrible, and I don't want to cut this over the canvas here, because then it's going to drop on there and make a mess, and I don't want it to do that. And you know, probably I'm letting this sit on that canvas a little bit too long, and it's going to, when you do that, when you let it sit there a while like that, it's going to absorb into the canvas and maybe make more of a indent or an imprint into the canvas than you want. But anyway, so here's my drop cloth, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lay this down just like that on the top. So that did pretty good. There's not really any air bubbles in there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move the spit. Now I'm moving it all out in one direction right now, and that's because I want to make sure that that all gets covered, and especially the black. But now I'm also going to move it back in toward the middle, because I really want this blending of color to come in here. So I'm going to move it back in toward the middle. And now the last thing that I want to do, you see how in the middle, the lighter color, the more I press it, the lighter it gets. So I don't really want to do that. So I'm trying to make sure that there are not a lot of bare spots going on. And who knows how this is going to come out anyway. But I'm going to bring this black back into the middle a little. And that's the thing with art, you never know. So, and you can see as I touch it that the canvas, probably because there really wasn't quite enough in the middle, or maybe because it was imprinted, I don't know. But the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to push down, I'm going to push the sides of this drop cloth down all the way around and just kind of smooth along the edge of it, because I want to make sure that all of it is covered. And I'm going back in when I see these bare spots peeking out there. I'm going to try to cover them up, but we'll see what happens. So now I basically have done this press onto this canvas. And what I'm going to do is because I'm by myself, I don't have anyone to help me lift it straight up. So what I do is I gather all four corners, and then once I have them all in the middle, then I lift it straight up. And there you have it. Now there are some lines that are veins. Sometimes they look pretty good and I leave them alone. And other times I might try to hit those with a little bit of water. But since this is a sparkling stain, I don't really want to hit it with water. And I have a torch right here, and I see some bubbles in there, and I'm just going to hit it with the torch just to see if I can get these bubbles out, which, yeah, it's taken a few of them out. And more likely air would do this, but I'm just going to pop all these bubbles with this torch. And there is a spot over here that I'm just going to move a little bit because it's all black. And you know, you can just sort of, the one thing I'll caution you on always is that do not overthink it and do not overwork it, because the minute that you do that, you end up with something that you're not happy with. Now, I love the way this came out, the way it spread, but one thing I'm not really happy about is the fact that there is this canvas that you can see in these areas where it's lighter, and you can see the actual cloth of the canvas poking through the spit. So, you know, what the heck? I mean, this is an example for me anyway. So what I'm going to do, you know, because this is how I roll anyway. This is how I work. You know, I see something, I go, oh, I don't like that, I got to fix it. So I start to mess with it. Now, sometimes it doesn't end up really well, like I said, because I overthink it. And sometimes it goes pretty good. So what I'm going to do is in these areas here where I see that, oops, my spit doesn't want to come out very well right now, where I see that I'm missing some, I'm just pouring a little bit of this lovely shade of Grace Hummingbird in there. And here's the other tool that I have that maybe you don't have. But like I said, I use the tools at my disposal. Being an artist, that's what I do. And I happen to have, yes indeed, I have an air gun. So I'm going to lightly blow. And if you see some of my creations sometimes, you will see that a lot of things like this, because I am using this air gun. And all I really want to do with this is to give it a little bit of color in the middle and fan it out just a little bit to where it doesn't look like a big blob in the center. And I want to try to cover those bare areas. So I'm just gently, and if you do get an airbrush, I strongly suggest that you practice with it and you learn what it does, because it's very, very easy to blow this stuff all over the place. And I am barely letting it hit. And I'm going to blow this out just a little bit more. And you can see as I move the airbrush, it moves the design. And all I'm trying to do, like I said, is just move this around a little bit, cover some of those bare areas, and try not to create any more, because that can happen. And like right here where I'm struggling with this one little spot right there, and see, and I just created another bare spot. But when you move the spit around a little bit, then you know it does better things. Now I notice here on the edge that I've got some more bareness coming up, so I'm going to take my black, I'm going to fill that in a little bit. I'm going to move this around. And I do not want this to be, and that is Ravenous Raven, by the way, and I don't want that to go back into my color, so I want to keep it on the edge. And sometimes I might add a little like this, tap it with my finger. Your fingers can work wonders sometimes. Over here I've got another blank that I need to fill in. And this will work fine as long as you're using just one color. I would not suggest tapping if you have more than one color on there. So I'm going to blow this just a little and kind of get it out of there. And the other thing that you can do which I haven't done on this one, is you can tilt the canvas a little, because if you've got enough movement, if you have enough spit on there, then you know it will tilt fine. If you don't, it's not going to move anywhere, so you're better off just letting it sit. But this, I'm trying to wipe off my glove a little bit here so I can do one more little thing that I noticed I want to do, and that is over here on this spot. I feel like I need a little bit more of this lovely rock chalk in there. And I dripped it a little, but I'm going to let the air gun take care of that. Okay, so then I think that's probably where we want to go, a little bit back like that. And there you have it. So that's my tutorial for you. Hope you enjoyed it, and maybe we'll do another one another time. Thanks a lot. Bye.